Handwriting, it's something most of us learned in primary school and immediately forgot about the second keyboards entered our lives. But guess what? That chicken scratch of yours might be saying more about you than your dating profile ever could. Yup, the loops, dots, slants, and even your margins are spilling the tea on your personality, so grab a pen. Write, "The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog," and let's decode what your handwriting says about you, one quirk at a time. The grand size of your scribbles. The size of your handwriting can be a surprisingly reliable hint about your level of self-confidence and sociability. If your letters could be seen from space, you might be an extrovert who enjoys basking in the spotlight. You're friendly, outgoing, and probably the person who makes a group chat feel like a house party dot. But if your writing is so tiny that it requires a magnifying glass, you might be more introverted. You're detail-oriented, a deep thinker, and probably own a bullet journal. Somewhere in between, that suggests you're adaptable and balanced. A social chameleon with a knack for adjusting to any situation without breaking a sweat. The social distance between your words. Spacing between your words isn't just an aesthetic choice, it's a social vibe check dot. If you leave large gaps between your words, it may mean you're someone who values personal space and independence. You likely enjoy your alone time and aren't afraid to skip the party in favor of a quiet night binging documentaries about deep-sea creatures dot. On the flip side, if your words are practically cuddling each other on the page, that can suggest you're a people person, someone who finds comfort in close relationships. You're not clingy necessarily, but you're definitely the kind of friend who texts "I'm outside" before getting a response. Lean with it, the slant of your letters. Now, tilt your head. Literally, the direction your handwriting slants can offer a peek into your emotional world. A right slant means you're open-hearted, sentimental, and probably cry during Pixar movies. You thrive on emotional connections and care deeply about your relationships. If your writing leans left, however, you might be a bit more guarded. You're introspective, independent, and probably own a playlist titled "Songs to Stare at the Ceiling To." And if your letters stand up straighter than a royal guard, it could mean you're the practical type. Logic rules your decisions, and emotions take the back seat. You're steady, dependable, and probably the one your friends call when their life falls apart. Dotting the I's, because someone has to. That tiny dot above your eye is doing more than just completing the alphabet. It's revealing your inner world dot. If you dot your I's directly above the letter, you're precise, organized, and maybe even a little perfectionistic. People trust you with their calendars and definitely their to-do lists. But if your dots hover way above the letter like they're trying to break free, that screams imagination. You dream big, think outside the box, and probably have a Pinterest board titled "Ideas for My Future Treehouse," using circles instead of dots. You're playful, whimsical, and possibly still a kid at heart. And if you slash your eyes like they owe you money, you might be your own harshest critic. Driven, intense, and a bit impatient with anything less than perfect. Crossing your T's and maybe some lines. T's aren't just letters, they're motivational hieroglyphs scribbled across your page. The height and length of that little crossbar can say a lot about your inner drive. If you strike your T's near the top, you're shooting for the stars with big goals, high standards, and an ambition that doesn't take weekends off. You're the type who writes vision boards and actually believes in them. Midline crosses. You're still confident, but you've found your groove. You're content, balanced, and probably the calmest person in a group project. Now, long crossbars that stretch dramatically, those scream determination. You don't quit, sometimes to a fault. Even if the goal is 5 steps away, you'll take 20 just to be thorough. But short little crosses, that might signal a motivational hiccup. You've got the ideas, but sometimes your follow-through forgets to RSVP. Margins, the borders of your soul. Your use of paper margins might look like a formatting issue, but it's actually a subconscious signal of your outlook on life. A narrow left margin suggests you're clinging to the past like it's your favorite hoodie from high school. You reflect deeply and let your history guide your present. A wide left margin, on the other hand, hints that you're ready to leave the past behind like expired yogurt. Full speed ahead into the future. The right margin reveals how you feel about what's coming next. A tight squeeze on the right side means you're diving into the future with both feet, maybe even without checking the water depth. But a wide right margin, that's caution. You prefer the known, the stable, the safe zone, like rewatching your favorite sitcom instead of trying a new show. How hard you press. Not all handwriting is created with equal force. Some folks practically carve their words into the paper, while others seem to write like they're afraid of waking it up. If you're a heavy-handed writer who presses down hard, chances are you're intense, passionate, and take life head-on. You don't just feel emotions, you live in them. Your determination is so strong, your notes could double as Braille. You're probably the kind of person who writes a to-do list and actually finishes it. On the flip side, if your handwriting is light as a feather, you might be more easygoing, sensitive, or possibly in need of a nap. You let life unfold naturally, embracing calm over chaos. But if the pressure is too faint, your notes might start looking like secret messages from the spirit world. Somewhere in between lies balance. Just enough pressure to show conviction, but not enough to dent the desk. Letter shapes, rounded versus pointy. Letter shapes are like emotional doodles your brain sneaks onto the page. If your handwriting is full of round, bubbly letters, chances are you're a warm-hearted nurturer who'd offer emotional support and snacks without being asked. You're the human equivalent of a cozy blanket, comforting, friendly, and eager to keep the peace. You likely avoid conflict like it's a group project with strangers and believe that kindness can fix just about anything. But if your letters are spiky, jagged, and angled like little ink daggers, you're operating on a whole different wavelength. This style screams sharp intellect and a dash of sass. You're analytical, efficient, and probably enjoy a good sarcastic comeback more than small talk. Your brain moves fast, your standards are high, and challenges are your morning coffee. While soft letter writers chase connection, pointy letter folks chase logic, and occasionally scare off people with their wit. Letter connection, loop-de-loops, or print style. How you connect your letters tells the world how you connect with thoughts. And people dot cursive writers. Those who link letters like a chain of ideas are logical, methodical, and often think before they speak. You might also be the type to say, "Let me explain," even when no one asked for it. If you print instead, that screams independence. You like to do things your own way, on your own time. You're straightforward, efficient, and you probably find group projects mildly offensive. Then there's the hybrid, some cursive, some print. That means you're flexible, intuitive, and a little unpredictable in the best way. Messy genius or neat freak. Now for the grand finale, your handwriting's vibe as a whole dot. If your handwriting looks like a swirling storm of ink, don't worry. You might just be a creative genius. Some of the most brilliant minds in history had borderline illegible handwriting. We're looking at you, doctors. You think fast, act faster, and sometimes the pen just can't keep up dot. But if your writing looks like a font from a word processor, you're probably disciplined, focused, and meticulous. You take pride in your work, value clarity, and never forget to cross your T's or dot your I's. People probably describe you as the responsible one in group chats, sometimes with admiration, sometimes with fear. That's all for today's video. If your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted, it's time to hit that like and subscribe. Ring that bell so you never miss another deep and hilarious dive into human behavior. And hey, share this with a friend whose handwriting deserves its own documentary.